Okay, hey guys, so I kind of threw you in the deep end a little bit with the interval exercise on musictheory.net. I'm going to kind of break down the basics of that, and we're probably not going to get to the level that was on that exercise, but I still want you to understand the basics. So an interval is the amount of musical space between two notes. Now, they can be the same note. Like if I was to play, now again, I don't have perfect pitch, but let's say I played C, and then I played another C. It's two notes, but they're the same note. We call that a unison. I think you guys have heard that before. Similarly, if I played C, C, it'd be an octave. I think you guys have heard that before too. And remember, octave is the number 8, so we would use the number 8. Now for this instance, I'm using a C scale in treble clef. Low brass people, you'll just kind of have to roll with it and just imagine you're playing a C scale in bass clef for picturing this, okay? It's the same idea. I picked C because there's no flats or sharps, so we can just focus on the number of notes and the interval between them. So if C is our first note and we go to D, we're gonna call that a second, okay? 2. All right, we don't usually write the ND, we just put the number 2, it's a second, okay? Because you go C, D, you count up your musical alphabet, which I'll put up here to remind you, C, D, E, F, G, and then you loop back to the beginning, right? Okay, C, D, E, C, D, E, that's a third, C, D, E, F, that's a fourth, C, D, E, F, G, that's a fifth, and so on, 6th, 7th, all the way to octave, okay? That's how you get the number in your interval. Here's where it gets a little hairy. Some intervals can be major, which we use a capital M, or minor. I usually put a line over it so you know it's minor. Or you can have what's called a perfect interval. If it's perfect, it's already perfect. It cannot be major or minor. So it's going to be one or the other. If it's major, it could be minor. If it's minor, it could be major. A perfect is a perfect. Okay? Now, here's the part you just sort of have to memorize. In a major scale, each interval has a type. Okay? The unison is perfect. P-U, you stink. Ha ha. Okay. So, if it's already perfect, you can't have like B, B, and have it be minor. It's the same note. The same is true of octave. You cannot have a major or minor octave. It has to be perfect octave. So it's a P8, okay? Now, this is the part you just sort of have to memorize. A second is major. A third is major. Fourths and fifths are perfect. 6th and 7ths are major. Now, again, I just know that because I had to memorize it, and you will too. I'm sure we could find some sort of mnemonic device. So it's perfect, major, major, perfect, perfect, major, major, perfect. If you can come up with a way to remember that, by all means. So this is the first level you need to understand before we start going into what the differences between minor and major are. So, I'm going to make a second video here in a second, once you understand this concept, where I'm going to explain how to make it minor.